So the housing market is definitely feeling a little more volatile than it has before. What does that mean? Let's look at the housing numbers for the last month of July. Hey, I'm Tristen Campanella, and today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the housing market shift, and I'm going to use some data and statistics for the San Diego area so that you stay informed about usually what's your biggest asset. I approach things holistically, and I look at things in a total picture. So let's get to it today. All right, guys, so for San Diego, what I'm seeing is that home prices are definitely coming down. Does that mean that there's a big crash coming? I think it's more like a shifting of the market. And what I mean by a shifting is we had this auction mentality where home sellers were listing their homes for sale, and home buyers were coming in and literally just making offers, driving the price up almost in like that eBay auction frenzy. We're no longer seeing that as home values got so expensive, and then the rising mortgage rates really threw people for a loop. No longer can people afford such expensive houses. So I'm seeing sellers list their house for what their neighbors sold their house for 3 months ago. Unfortunately, they have kind of missed that window, and what I think you need to start to look at is listing your house at what is currently active on the market. You need to be very clear with how you're pricing your home in these markets, because 60% of people are reducing their price. Now, does that mean they're still getting more than they were 2 years ago? Most likely, but we may not be getting the 20% gains that we had before. So to give you the accurate numbers, I am going to refer to my sheet, as I am a regular human and I really want to make sure I give you guys some good accurate numbers. So I really focus on the North County area. I have said over and over in the last year that our median home price income, our sales price, is going to be over $1 million. Well, guys, we have hit it. So our median sales price is now $1,020,945. So that is the median price of buying a house. Last year it was $975. So we've jumped quite a bit, 4.7%, but that's actually a pretty normal gain. So if your house is now technically worth $1 million, but everybody else is listing their house at $975, I'd honestly stop and think if maybe you want to wait a second, let the market shift out and see what happens. If you're comfortable with getting that $975, I think that's an awesome, solid price. And if your home is move-in ready, you're definitely going to get that. So let's look at some other numbers. Our days on the market have gone up to 30 days. That's up from about 10. So that's quite a significant tick up into days on market. That is another reason why sellers are freaking out a little bit, because they're worried that the home isn't going to sell. It will sell. It's just not flying off the shelves. Remember, average days on market is really usually 30 days. So that should be a fine and normal thing, nothing to panic about. Average sales list price received. This is a big number. So last year we had 104% over of list price received, meaning that the list price was a certain number and the seller received 104% above that. We're currently at exactly 100%, meaning the seller is listing their house for the price and the buyers are offering that. I would say it's starting to come down a little bit, but remember, if the seller reduces the price and then the buyer offers that price, it's still 100%. So it's a little deceiving there. All right, inventory. So the reason why nobody is screaming that we're having a total crash is that we just still don't have a lot of inventory. We still have buyers moving here, people moving here. It's San Diego. We are going to constantly have Navy, military. Apple is adding 5,000 new jobs in Rancho Bernardo. That's amazing. We're always going to have people needing to purchase a home, especially as rents are rising, and we'll talk about that in a second. Rents are actually going way up, as you can see by this graph from Redfin, and as people are no longer being able to afford houses with the higher interest rates and the higher affordability, there's going to be more demand for rentals, and supply and demand, what happens? We are going to see higher rents coming out of that. But our month supply of inventory last year, this time, 2022 July, We had 1.6 months of supply and we only have 2 months of supply. So we're still not in that point where we're seeing crazy amounts of supply and an overflooding of houses for sale, which then leads to, you know, a lack of demand because there's so much supply. We're not there yet, okay? Other things, closed date sales were at 675 closed sales compared to 1,227 last year. That is a negative 45%. So we had sold less houses in this July versus last July, mostly due to lack of inventory and really what I think is just this screeching halt of buyers taking a breath since the interest rates went up. Now what's happening with interest rates? They went up over almost like to the 6% area. We came back down to 4.9%. They are not going to stay there. Everybody is predicting that they are going to be going up again to the 5.5%, staying in kind of in that 5%. The Fed added, we added 500,000 jobs. Our unemployment rate is incredibly low, but the Fed still is trying to combat inflation. So we have to watch what the Fed is doing to be aggressive on that. And the difference between a 0.5 point percentage when you are thinking about buying a home is quite significant. Therefore, if you are thinking about buying, now is the time. Like, really get off the fence. I know a lot of people are worried and nervous. If it fits in your budget, which by the way, make sure you download my budget calculator right here, then you go ahead and you can feel comfortable about that. You will continue to get equity. We're not making any more real estate. So we want to make sure that you're able to buy into that. So just in a nutshell, home prices still are high. They're still up year over year, at least 10%. We're gonna see a normal gain about 3 to 5 every year. Days on markets are up, so it's taking longer to sell houses. Home sellers are reducing the price to more of a fair market price, but it is still higher than it was last year. Interest rates came down, but we do expect them to go up. I hope you guys find this information helpful. Please call, text, links below, download my free home budget worksheet that's gonna help you understand how much house you can afford.